McGraw-Hill Professional presents The Big Fish Experience. Create memorable presentations that reel in your audience. Written by Kenny Wynn, Gus Murillo, Robert Colleen, Luke Jones. Narrated by John Brancy. Our story. In January 2011, we, Kenny Wynn and Gus Murillo, experienced the most boring presentation of our lives while watching a Fortune 500 executive speak at a student organization function. Sitting there, completely miserable, faced with a presentation that consisted of hundreds of slides with nothing but text, we had this crazy idea to create a company that would rid the world of boring presentations. Big Fish Presentations was born. We started out helping small clients, small fish, present like big fish in a vast ocean of competition. Today, Big Fish Presentations is a leading visual and video production firm. Our clients range from startups to Fortune 500 companies. We work with brands that want to present themselves in new and innovative ways while keeping design, communication, and effective delivery in mind. Whether it is by designing a high-quality slide deck, training entrepreneurs for a $2 million pitch, or producing a 30-second video showcasing a company's brand to the public, Big Fish strives to transform each presentation into an experience for the audience. How to use this book. We know you're busy. In order to maximize your time, here are some tips to help you get the most out of this book. Write down your goals. Write down 10 goals that you wish to accomplish to become a better presenter. Why 10? Well, because we like to keep it simple. Too many may overwhelm you, and too few may not challenge you. We want you to become the best presenter you can be. To help with your goals, at the end of each chapter, we suggest challenges based on the content. The key is to share these goals with trusted friends, family members, and coworkers, and have them hold you accountable for meeting them. We understand that everyone is at a different presentation skill level, so we tiered the challenges to push even the best presenters out of their comfort zone. Here are some sample goals. 1. Deliver my next presentation without a PowerPoint deck. 2. Deliver my next presentation without note cards. 3. Create my next presentation with fewer than 10 words on every slide. If you accomplish all your goals, please let us know at hq@bigfishpresentations.com. If you feel as if you already know the material in a chapter, don't be afraid to skip ahead. This book was built for all levels of presenters. That's why we summarize what we cover at the beginning of each chapter. This way, if you feel you're already comfortable with a certain topic, you can challenge yourself by moving on to a section farther ahead. For those in a rush for quick advice, in the back of this book, the section Extra Resources lists the key points in each chapter. While we suggest reading the whole book, these salient points should come in handy as you prepare your presentation to remind yourself of what you may have missed or need to refine. Practice what you read in front of people regularly. Just reading this book won't make you a great presenter. You have to practice. Schedule practice sessions on any topic with your coworkers, bosses, professors, friends, or family members to try out new techniques. Great communication takes practice. For this book to make a difference in your life, the secret is to practice so much that it begins to feel natural. When good habits become natural, you can focus on improving other presentation techniques. Do not be afraid to try something new. Presentations are constantly evolving. There might be some material in these pages that may not resonate with you. That's okay. Just keep an open mind. Be receptive to trying new things with the mission to become a better presenter today than you were yesterday. Be bold. Go out there and try something new. Your audience will respect you for it. Keep learning. If there are any new creative ways you see presenters use to engage their audience that we have not discussed here, but that you would love for us to write about on our blog, hookyouraudience.com, please email us at hq@bigfishpresentations.com. We would love to hear from you. Chapter 1. The Big Fish Presentations Process. Design, Content, Delivery. What defines an experience? Plans are of little importance, but planning is essential. Winston Churchill. When you hear the word experience, what comes to mind? A concert where people are screaming their lungs out? A sporting event where fans are cheering for their team? A performance by a group like Cirque du Soleil? All these definitely would qualify as an experience because all offer something more than just music, sports, and entertainment. Each is a memorable event that people will cherish and relive in their thoughts. Have you ever considered that a presentation also could qualify as an experience? We don't commonly associate the word presentation with the euphoria of a concert or ball game. If a presentation is ever thought of as an experience, it is probably considered a bad one. Very rarely do you hear the word memorable or exciting to describe a presentation. We usually only hear that in connection to Apple product launches or TED Talks. Great presenters who deliver amazing experiences account for just 1% of all presenters. What about the remaining 99%? These presenters have three major problems. First, many rely too much on their software rather than build trust with the audience. Second, they do not prepare adequately to meet the demands of the attention spans of today's audiences. Last, presenters do not take the time to understand what their audiences really want. The result? Audiences have become so numb from bad presenters that they're actually surprised to see a good one. We at Big Fish Presentations want you to join the 1%, and our aim is for those ranks to grow. In the next section, you'll learn about our battle-tested, 3-step process for creating a great presentation. Learning and applying the process will be your first step in getting your audience to believe in you. Our process. Engaging content plus memorable and simple visuals plus powerful delivery equal unforgettable experience. While this might seem simple, it actually took years to create and fine-tune this complex process. This book is structured to simulate the way we think when building a presentation from the ground up. We go from nailing down a solid concept to incorporating visuals, and finally to working on strong execution. Having a clear process to follow makes the entire presentation experience more enjoyable and memorable. As the equation indicates, this is a 3-step process. 1. Engaging content. Creating engaging content provides the foundation and the call to action for the presentation. Content is king in the presentation world. Focus your efforts on developing the most engaging story and vision possible to get your listeners invested in what you have to say. You need them to be able to understand your message, to believe in it. 2. Memorable and simple design. If content is the king of the presentation, then design is the queen. It's easier to make a beautiful slide deck when you have a strong foundation and vision. Consider your presentation aesthetic and think about how your design connects with the audience. Focus on the relationship between your listeners' hearts and minds rather than just trying to make a slide that looks nice. Design with an outcome in mind. 3. Powerful delivery. This is the final step in presenting a message that can create change. Strong body language, confidence, and connection are key. Well-designed presentations are important, But there is no replacement for the most important differentiator: you. People will always remember the presenter more than the presentation. Presenters are the difference makers. They hold the power to persuade. In this book, you will learn what it takes to master each step in detail. But before going deeper into our process, we'd like to introduce our 10 commandments. Kenny's tip. Before founding the company, I trained for a couple of years to become a chef. While learning how to create dishes that would wow the patrons at my uncle's restaurant, I discovered the components of a life-changing meal: great ingredients, flawless technique, and presentation. Creating presentations is very similar to creating a great meal. Great ingredients equals great content. Flawless technique equals high-quality design. Presentation equals powerful delivery. While both a great presentation and a great meal require the proper atmosphere to be delivered effectively, if executed properly, both can result in a life-changing experience for the recipient. Think of the greatest meal you've ever had when creating your presentation. Think of all the elements that made the meal memorable and how it made you feel. In the same way, we remember the most powerful presentations we've witnessed in our lives. The Big Fish Presentations Commandments. Here are our 10 most useful tips in the form of commandments. These are the ideals that form our presentation philosophy. As you make your way through this book, keep them in mind. They will help you become a more personable, well-rounded, and confident presenter. 1. Present what's in it for the world, not you. 2. Remember that time is not a renewable resource. Respect it. 3. Never deliver a presentation you wouldn't want to sit through. 4. Be aware that people will always remember the presenter more than the presentation. 5. Be passionate about your topic. 6. Tell stories. 7. Always have a progression that leads to a call to action. 8. If you think you've rehearsed enough, rehearse again. 9. Engage with the audience when possible. 10. Have fun. We'll elaborate on these commandments in much more detail throughout the book. We believe they can get anyone on the right track to becoming a great presenter. You are now ready to begin the first step in turning your next presentation into an experience. Get ready to create engaging content that can move your audience. Chapter 2. Content. Words have incredible power. They can make people's hearts soar, or they can make people's hearts sore. Dr. Marty Grothe. The foundation of every presentation is its content. It can have the best transitions, highest quality pictures, and most intricate, visually stunning design. However, if it says nothing, it will achieve nothing. You're presenting for a reason. You're trying to communicate something. Your content is what your audience is going to latch onto and remember. It's your big idea, your message, your approach. You're going to be in a room full of people with their own opinions and perspectives. You have to make sure that whatever it is you're about to tell them is powerful, entertaining, persuasive, and credible, whether it's meant to educate, inspire, persuade, or move your audience to tears or laughter. It's not always about what you want to say as much as what your listeners want to hear. Who are they? What do they like? What's their demographic and psychographic, their values? The answers to these questions will help mold your content and will make or break your presentation. If people don't feel that what you're saying is important, they'll zone out. If you're not saying something that interests them, they'll zone out. And even if what you're saying interests them, but you're not saying it in a way that interests them, they'll zone out. It's a double-edged sword because both what you say and how you say it will determine their attention. Some say that the average audience attention span is 5 minutes. Unfortunately, it's likely your presentation will be longer than that. You need to make sure that what you're saying captivates your listeners and keeps them engaged. In this chapter, we'll discuss the following: research, the big idea, a simple central message, the opener, the story, data, call to action, structure, lines that stick, make anything interesting. Research. Research is crucial. Before you buy a house, you do research. Before you go to a job interview, you do research. Before you begin a new initiative at work, you do research. No matter what we do in life, there's always a certain level of research and planning that we do before we act. What's the quickest way to the office? Which vendor offers the lowest prices? What company would I like to work for? It's no different when it comes to presenting. As a presenter, you need to research your topic and the audience to whom you're speaking. When researching a topic, the first thing you need to understand is that there will never be a point when the research will be complete. Never. There will always be more to learn. The goal isn't to research until you feel as though you've exhausted all the sources. The goal is to research until you can talk about a topic confidently and comfortably. This is important for 2 reasons. You'll look at your slides less, and you'll be able to answer any questions thrown at you. Using slides as a crutch can inhibit your credibility as a presenter. So, as a rule, don't rely on them. Researching your topic thoroughly ensures you won't have to. This also makes it easier for you to create simpler and more succinct slides, using them only as a guide. So how do you research a topic well enough to know everything you need to know? Let's say you have to give a presentation on a book, but you have nothing else to go on. You don't know who's in the audience or the point of the presentation. All you know is that you're going to be talking about a certain book for 30 minutes. What's the first step? These are the 6 questions you should ask yourself when doing research. Who, what, when, where, why, how. For the purposes of our example, you should ask yourself, what is the book about? What is its purpose? Who is the intended reader? Who are the authors? What did they do? Why did they write it? It's a brief example, but each of these questions will lead to even more questions. The point is not to simply ask these 6 questions and be done, but to apply them to every single aspect of the topic. Remember, there will never be an end point. No information is useless. Question everything. Google is your friend. What if you are an expert in your subject? Let's say you know the answer to every question anyone could ask you. Research prior to your presentation is still important. It will help you refine what you are speaking about, and most important, will lead you to the second phase of your research. This involves understanding exactly to whom you are speaking. When you know who your listeners are, you will know what they want to hear and how they want to hear it. This is crucial to any presentation. Once you know your audience, you can understand their needs. In defining the audience, pay attention to the event itself. It's important to understand the context. Is it a conference with an entry fee? Is this a professional audience? A group of students? Are there other speakers? If so, what are their topics? Regardless of how you find out information about the audience, the point is to spend time doing so. When you are able to gauge the likes and dislikes of those to whom you're speaking, you can tailor your message to ensure its effectiveness with that particular audience. You may apply the 6 questions to researching your audience. 1. Why am I speaking? 2. Who am I speaking to? 3. What does the audience want to hear? 4. How am I going to best satisfy their needs? 5. When am I speaking? 6. Where is the venue/stage/area? Other questions to ask about your audience. Do I have any relevant personal stories to which my target audience can relate? What medium, presentation tool, am I going to use to best reach my audience? What do I want my listeners to do with the information I give them? What do they already know about the topic? What are possible questions or objections my topic may raise? Is there technical information that may confuse my audience? Am I careful not to offend anybody when speaking about controversial issues, such as religion, race, or politics? If speaking to a foreign audience, am I sure that none of my material can be considered offensive? Many of us are asked to present at a conference. We know that people aren't going to pay to watch a movie they don't think they'll like. It's the same way with conference presentations. If you know that all the speakers are talking about the same subject, it's a good indication of the audience's interests. When in doubt, just ask the event coordinator. This is, however, not foolproof. There will always be members of the audience who are outliers. To hook them, aim to make your presentation interesting in general, regardless of who is listening. More on this later. This example provides 2 great lessons for researching your audience. Lesson 1, use your available resources. Through your main contact, identify the various groups within and interests of your audience. Ask the necessary questions. Lesson 2, in the event of a diverse audience, generalize the message and then use an inclusive approach to address each group's needs. Being knowledgeable about a topic is a great way to exude confidence and credibility, and knowing your listeners' needs is the best way to move them. Don't give a presentation without researching your topic and audience. Kenny's tip: your primary contact, client, event organizer, host, etc., is your best resource. But use other resources as well. Look up past periodicals geared toward the audience or event. Interview members of the past or current audience, or ask previous speakers about their experience with the audience. Case study. A major electronics retailer asked us to help create a pitch to its large clients to invest in the company's new interactive technology. The challenge? Multiple target audiences from different departments would influence the final purchasing decision. Within this group of stakeholders were CEOs, marketers, accountants, engineers, and developers, all of whom wanted their needs addressed. If the pitch failed to do this, it would delay future sales. We tailored our approach. We opened the presentation with common elements related to all the stakeholders, and then we proceeded to address each group's needs while tying in what it meant for the other groups. With the addition of this technology, your customers will be able to do X and experience interactive technology like never before for the marketers. While revolutionary, this technology also comes with compatible upgrades to your current technology for the engineers, without incurring a heavy cost for the accountants and CEOs who care about the bottom line. This inclusive approach provided reassurance to every department that its needs would be satisfied. The big idea. We cannot stress this enough. All presentations need a big idea. The big idea defines the purpose of the presentation. It is essentially an argument. It can be inspiring, challenging, or controversial. The big idea is the basis for the content of your entire presentation. It will determine the way you approach your argument, message, overall tone, and the feeling you wish to convey. Behind every great presentation is a big idea. Its importance cannot be underestimated. We're going to show you how to pick not only a good big idea, but the best one. First, it's important to note that big ideas are not topics. While the topic, how to change your presentation game, might sound interesting, To truly succeed, it needs a big idea, such as, to change your presentation game, you must deliver a presentation you would want to sit through yourself. Big ideas are statements that relate to the topic, but also offer a solution that may challenge the audience's way of thinking. However, a big idea can't be effective on its own. The impact of your big idea depends greatly on the quality of your supporting content and the context in which you are presenting it. In other words, you need to know exactly who the people in your audience are, and then give them a reason to believe you. For example, if you deliver a speech with a big idea to increase sales by hiring the best talent, training them, and letting them do their work, to a crowd of seasoned sales managers, they probably will tune out, because this idea isn't going to change the way they think or feel. However, if you were to propose this big idea to a group of brand new, inexperienced sales managers, this might be something that opens their eyes. It may be new to them, and it may motivate them to learn more. You are giving them value with your idea. Another example is Drew Dudley's TEDx talk, Leading with Lollipops. Dudley didn't state his big idea until the end of his presentation about leadership. We need to redefine leadership as being about lollipop moments. How many of them we create, how many of them we acknowledge, how many of them we pay forward, and how many of them we say thank you for. This was a powerful call to action that was delivered after a story about a lady who thanked him for breaking the ice between her and a classmate. Spoiler alert, they ended up getting married. He moved his listeners and then called upon them to act on his big idea. The big idea of this book is, to be among the top 1% of presenters, one must take on the ambitious goal to make each presentation an experience for the audience by combining engaging content, memorable and simple visuals, and powerful delivery. Remember, it's better to focus on one powerful idea than multiple ideas. You want to rally the audience around a central idea. Always choose quality over quantity. Having too many big ideas can distract your audience and dilute your message. Here are some examples of famous TED Talks that focus on one big idea backed up by solid content. Melody Hobson, Color Blind or Color Brave. So I think it's time for us to be comfortable with the uncomfortable conversation about race. Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, male, female, all of us. If we truly believe in equal rights and equal opportunity in America, I think we have to have real conversations about this issue. We cannot afford to be colorblind. We have to be color brave. We have to be willing, as teachers and parents and entrepreneurs and scientists. We have to be willing to have proactive conversations about race with honesty and understanding and courage, not because it's the right thing to do, but because it's the smart thing to do, because our businesses and our products and our science, our research, all of that will be better with greater diversity. Chris Hadfield, What I Learned from Going Blind in Space. Looking at the difference between perceived danger and actual danger, where is the real risk? What is the real thing that you should be afraid of? Not just a generic fear of bad things happening. You can fundamentally change your reaction to things so that it allows you to go places and see things and do things that otherwise would be completely denied to you. Sean Acor, The Happy Secret to Better Work. And the problem is, it's scientifically broken and backwards for two reasons. Every time your brain has a success, you just change the goalpost of what success looked like. You got good grades. Now you have to get better grades. You got into a good school, and after you get into a better one, you got a good job. Now you have to get a better job. You hit your sales target. We're going to change it. And if happiness is on the opposite side of success, your brain never gets there. We've pushed happiness over the cognitive horizon as a society. And that's because we think we have to be successful. Then we'll be happier. These speakers masterfully captivate and inspire the audience with big ideas that are supported by powerful stories or strong data, which enable the speakers to make more convincing.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?